How are you doing, everybody? Welcome to doing late night edition of Bombers Blitz, right here on the College Football Mafia channel. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. Um, I wasn't going to do a show tonight, and because I don't do reaction shows, like I let everybody else do them, and then I usually come in the next day, right? Um, and I was going to do that. I have two great guests. Hopefully, they can both arrive tomorrow. Danielle Kelly, the Assistant Attorney General over antitrust in the state of Florida. It's a pretty important person. And then I'm hoping to get Jeremiah Dickey. Jeremiah Dickey is the AD at Boise State. I'm hoping to have him here as well tomorrow night, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see tonight. I was just going to sit on my hands, bite my tongue, uh, see, if I could get through this evening without talking about Brendan Sorsby, um, but I simply can't. I don't know what else to do. Brendan Sorsby's the news. There's no doubt about it. I want you guys to have an opportunity to call in. I will open the phone lines. It is late at night, so I'll definitely hear you out. Um, but everybody just needs to understand that it's going to be quick hitter. I didn't jump on to go 2 hours unless you guys demand me stick around. But yeah, Brendan Sorsby is the news. Everybody knows my opinions. I'm not going to change my opinions tonight. I do want to discuss, though, context. I want to discuss context, and that really, really matters. This is it's a really weird situation because who do you have to care about, right? Well, first, thanks everybody for being here. I don't know how many people are actually watching. It's hard to know the numbers sometimes. But if you're here for the first time and you're watching on X, do me a favor, jump over on YouTube, go to College Football Mafia, hit the subscribe button. I think we do a pretty good job around here. This tonight isn't going to be as refined as some of our shows. Tomorrow night will be slick. I have interviews with people who are really important, so that'll be a little bit different tonight. This is gut reaction, and I have too much nervous energy to make it through the evening. I really tried. I really, really tried to not come on and talk about Brendan Sorsby, but I don't know if I can do that. And so let's do this. I'll burn through the energy. You guys can chew me out, give me your opinions, whatever it may be. I know it's awful late. If you're up here and it's 11 p.m. on the East Coast, you should be in bed. I don't know what you're doing up anymore. And then it's less lazy people here in the Mountain and Pacific time zones where it's only 8 or 9 at night. And some people are just getting started anyway. So I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Just talk about Brendan Sorsby, gambling, and it has to be said, what about Texas Tech? And by extension, what does it say about the Big 12? I'm not one of the people that's going to tell you that everything that a school does reflects poorly on the conference. I'm just not going to say that. I think individuals make decisions, schools make decisions, and then they have to live with those decisions. And right now, I want everybody just take a deep breath. Let me bring up a few people that are showing up early or late tonight. I don't know what you degenerates are still doing up, but I appreciate you being here. Thanks for following or watching me on X. And again, jump over to College Football Mafia. If you want to leave a comment, definitely hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing around here. Pretty much it's just going to be me tonight. So if you don't like something, it's probably on me. But I like to hear you guys' opinions too. And so that's why we decided to do this tonight. Let's do some shout outs just to have everybody reflect on why they're here. And I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Caden the Diesel Freak. Sorry, that's a message from StreamYard. Caden the Diesel Freak who sent me a text tonight. Hey, what's going on? No show tonight. I did twice put out on X. I wasn't doing a show tonight. But I need to work on better communication because there's still people that had questions. So I will work on that going forward. But I am not one I'm not going to bandwagon. There's enough national people out there. Normally I would wait till the next day. Tonight I just couldn't do it. Anyway, Caden says, what? And then he also says, I thought you weren't going live till tomorrow. I am going live tomorrow. I am going to take calls tomorrow night. I just couldn't get through the evening without doing something this evening. Marcus Williams says, let's go. Also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. He and Caden, you can see next to their names that little symbol. That means they are not only subscribers, but members of the College Football Mafia family. And I appreciate all they do to help us keep going. Um, Marcus says, Bomber, this makes the Big 12 look bad, really bad. Marcus, and you've called in tonight, or I mean, other nights. I'd love to talk to you about this for a few minutes, actually, because I don't know how this reflects bad. Okay, let me just talk about myself. My school's BYU. Everybody knows that. I am super supportive of the Big 12 as an entity. I've been frustrated with Brett Yormark. Everybody knows that. But BYU is in the Big 12, and unlike other schools, we're not agitating against the conference. Marcus is looking from the outside in that makes the Big 12 look bad. I don't know what the Big 12 can do. Let's talk about punishment. What about the Big 10 in Michigan a few years ago? What happened there? The Big 12, I mean, the Big 10, they gave the coach a 2-game suspension. They still won the national championship. And did it make the Big 10 look bad? I don't. Maybe for somebody who doesn't have anything involved with the Big 10, they could say that. As far as I was concerned, they should have been holding Michigan accountable because they're the ones who made the choice. But the difference is also Michigan had an institutional problem. They were actually breaking rules. All Texas Tech is doing is they're not necessarily breaking rules. They're trying to make new rules. They're basically saying, brought a kid in, we're paying them millions of dollars. We put him through the system, and the system turned around and said, yeah, you can play. Now, you know that's screwed up. I know that's screwed up, but that's what the system is telling them. So is that the Big 10, 12's fault? Is that even Brendan Sorsby's fault? I don't know. So I'm going to be hopping all over on ideas tonight. So try to follow my train of thought. I will try to keep you on board. Hall of Fame college football. That would be Jason Watkins. Good to see you, Bomber. He says, Bomber. Good to see you, Jason. I appreciate you being here tonight. Check him out on the Hall of Fame of college football on YouTube and on Twitter. Let's see here. Jared Jones saying, Bomber. Good to see you, Jared. Jared is an Ohio State Buckeye, and proud of it, and valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Jason is a not valid, but huge follower of Oklahoma Sooners. Love to have Jason in here tonight. Hall of Fame college football. Jason says the Big 12 must not allow Tech to compete for a Big 12 title. Sorsby playing. I understand that thought. I get it. We'll talk through that, Jason. Hold that thought, okay? Here's Lucas Hill watching on X. I appreciate it, Lucas. Thanks for jumping on here for a little bit and watching me on the platform X. I really appreciate you. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Follow us at the College Football Mafia on YouTube, and then get involved. I love new people. I love answering questions like this. It doesn't cost you anything. Leave them a comment. The rules are generally, once the show gets going, I do super chats first, member comments second, and then regular comments third. But I love having people here from X. Thank you so much. It's underutilized, I think. Do I think Sorsby should be eligible? Yes. Do I think college programs should cancel future games for all athletic programs versus Tech? Absolutely not. Bottom line, and does he do one more? Because I didn't see. Well, if you say bottom line, absolutely not bottom line. Okay. If we just take that on its own, what does that actually mean if we let him, if he actually plays some games this year after he had bet on his team? And everybody's getting gaslit if they think the only problem is he bet on his team. He broke interstate laws by gambling across state lines. He broke state and federal laws by gambling under the age of 21. Those are both, I think they're both, the interstate one might be felony. I need to check that out. Somebody Google that for me. But gambling across state lines, and then third, having somebody else impersonate you. You having other people bet for you. In my opinion, those are the bigger issues. Him betting on his team, that's a red line. Nobody's ever been able to do that and get away with it. But I mean, nobody's talking about the actual legal implications here at all. And the NCAA screwed up in their suit, by the way. They just stood there, let the lawyer for Sorsby, Kessler, who happens to be a super college agent slash lawyer. He's the one who helped build and charge to get the House settlement done. It's ridiculous. The NCAA doesn't know how to represent itself. So, yeah, the morality part of it, we'll talk about in a little bit, Lucas. I'll give you air, I promise you. Evil Badger Ryan Willie, what are you doing up? You should be in bed as well. Every school should boycott Texas Tech. $2 super chat. And Evil Badger, thank you for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. Every school should boycott Texas Tech. Okay, hang on to that. We'll get to it, okay? Oh my gosh, midnight call-ins, a new high to Town Hawk, checking in, representing the Kansas Jayhawks, also an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Here's another guy who checked on me. I wasn't doing a show earlier. He sent me a text. Thanks for checking on me, Bulldog. Evening Mafia, it's great to see you here. Bulldog, Mississippi is also now by this time an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. You know, one thing I didn't get prepared because I just sat down to do this show, I left my water out there. Mindy, if you're home, I need my water bottle. Anyway, my wife's doing yoga, so I don't think she's here. I will mark that one for later. Here's another Grateful Trojan, a newer member of the College Football Mafia family. Great participator, somebody who gets involved in the comments. I appreciate you, Grateful Trojan. It's great to have you around. Thank you, Cody and Texas Tech, for pushing the Power 2 into silos years ahead of schedule. Yeah, unintended consequences, right, Grateful Trojan? They are backing groups and people into corners. I never think that's a good idea. I think it's a horrible idea the way that they're pushing this narrative, everything against the P2. I hate it. I hate every bit about it. And everybody knows I was a supporter of Cody Campbell. And there's some stuff still. I'm like, well, that's the rules. He can do it. But this one, this bill, this Cruz Cantwell bill, and see, here I am already getting off topic. They lose the thread when they're forcing the Big Ten and the SEC to do something. I hate that. I hate it. I loved Cody Campbell's propositions months ago when it was just a proposition suggestion. I loved it when it was helping writing a bill. I do not like forcing people to do anything. I hate that. Unless it's against the law, I'm just not going to. It's hard for me to support that at all. Secret agent, it's been a minute, but he is. They are. Secret Agent 73 could be 18 people. I don't know. I don't care. Secret Agent's been an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. I really appreciate you. Am I knew the opponent's plays? Michigan. Yeah, let's talk about that. Michigan knew the opponent's plays. It's true. Won the national championship by cheating. Nobody's talking about Michigan cheating anymore. Texas Tech hasn't even done anything yet. Anyway, Michigan knew the opponent's plays. They intentionally cheated. You're absolutely right. It's different. It is different. There's levels here. I think you're right, Secret Agent. People are focusing on one thing or the other, but usually it's they want to sell a narrative. I'm asking everybody to take a step back and let's look at it maybe from a different angle. Not telling you to change your mind, but let's just try to be more. Yeah, let's just talk about it. Lucas also says, reiterating he should not be eligible. Okay, Lucas, thank you very much. I was confused by your first post. So thanks for clearing that up. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, this is where it's really, people are going to get emotional, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Everybody here would be protecting their own schools if they had a chance. Ding, 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 ding. Jared Jones. Hello. Thank you. Let's see if I can get a clapping in here for somebody. I can. Okay. Jared Jones, super fan, OG member of the College Football Mafia family, been with us since almost the beginning, actually. $50, $5, $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Jared. Always appreciate you, Bomber. I appreciate you too, Jared. I know. Yeah, I get all sentimental when I see you guys that have been around forever because I'm here for you guys, definitely. Starry, good to have you here. Another Texas Tech fan. Love to have you. I really want you guys to call in when I turn on the phone lines. Mindy, are you out there? I need my water bottle. I'm so stupid. I sat down without my water bottle. If teams want to boycott playing tech, then they can forefront the game and take the or forfeit the game and take the loss. Yeah, I'm just somebody's gonna have to convince me that tech needs to be punished here. I just don't know. Uh, Here we go, back again. Jason Watkins, renewed member of the College Football Mafia family, OG member, and somebody I really respect for the work he does on Twitter. Locked on Big 12, great stuff as always, my friend. It's great to see you, Drake. Thanks for checking in. And Drake C. Toll of Locked on Big 12. Also, Savannah Bananas. He works with them, and he's of everybody watching this show right now, he's going to be the first bazillionaire. And I just want to float in his greatness. Good to see you here, Drake. Thanks for showing up tonight for a little bit at least. Um, let's see here. Ghost of Replica. Where did Replica go? I want Replica back. Good to have you, Ghost of Replica. I think I know who you are. You're an OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Cody Campbell has engineered a hostile takeover at Texas Tech athletic department. You can't convince me Kirby Holcutt and Joey McGuire are comfortable with the way this situation is unfolding. We will research that, Ghost of Replica. Very, very smart comments. Stephen Pitts, love you. Great to have you here on a late night show. Homerism negates realism. Passion negates reason, I think is another way you can put it. Everybody watching this show right now, at least most of you, I recognize you would do everything you could to stand behind your school, and you would be right to do it. I think where we need to talk about is what is the point of no return? And I have living examples that we can talk about if you guys don't call in. I've got a few things I can bring up. But anyway, and one more, and then I am going to put up the title, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines, and you guys can call in. But we're trying to stop Texas Tech from inviting in something they can't stop. Marcus, I'm assuming you misspelled something there. We are trying to stop Texas Tech from inviting. Anyways, clear up that comment, Marcus, and I will post it for sure. Michael Smith checking in. Good to have you here, Michael. Michael Smith says, poor Texas Tech. They've deluded themselves that they're Michigan. That's funny. That's funny, Michael. Michael knows what time it is. It is a funny comment. Rock and Rant, moderator, somebody who is a ghost member, not member, but partner around here. We appreciate you, Rock, for all you do on your channel, College Football Express. And I just want to do more stuff with Rock and Rant because he is a rock star and a good friend. And I appreciate him being here. Rock, you have the link. Join me. Come on here and talk with me for a few minutes. I know you've got the time. Go take your dog for a walk and come in on the show. I'd love to talk to you about it. Tie 2 Chains. There's a cool name. Tie 2 Chains. If Brendan Sorsby plays this season, Texas Tech should vacate all their wins for the season and not be eligible for the Big 12 championship game. I've heard that from a lot of people. I really have. And again, I understand that, right? I get it. I just don't know where to take this. Because originally I had an idea and I was like, oh, let's go aggressive. And then I had an idea, no, I want to be more listening. And at this point, I'm almost thinking it's not about. Okay, let me just reset it. So in my opinion, let me put this up here, so everybody knows what we're talking about. Everybody who's watching can understand the comments and why we're talking about. Here it is. Okay. Brendan Sorsby, temporary restraining order, gambling in college sports. What is Texas Tech thinking? So let me get out 3 things, and then I'll open up the phone lines. Rock, you can join me anytime. I would invite anybody else to call in. That includes you, Jason. But I need to leave that on. No time. Sorry, I need to turn off the time on that, so everybody knows on Twitter what we're talking about. So here's my thoughts. First of all, What have I said from the very beginning? If you don't know who I am, never seen me on Twitter, you're 50 people watching me on Twitter right now or whatever. I have been as consistent as gravity when it comes to this. The very first thing I told everybody is slow down, you move too fast. The very first gut reactions that people give are generally emotional and not so technical. So Brendan Sorsby comes out and he admits he's got a gambling addiction. Jump back a month and a half, 2 months. He did that knowing that he was already going to be exposed. So if you look at the timing of the announcement versus what the first reports are of him going into rehab, they're within a day of each other, and it doesn't matter which came first. But he declares, "Hey, I've got this addiction. I'm going into rehab." My very first thing I said, and I'll tell you why I said this, because here, BYU hat, I'm not going to run away from my own history. 2 years ago, our starting quarterback, who ended up taking Tulane to the college football playoff, not going to use names because I don't want to call out names. That's not the point. Ran afoul. Well, there was some accusations, but at the very least, there is a morality clause at BYU. You can't do certain things. You can't drink alcohol. You can't have premarital sex. These things are wide open. If you know BYU at all, you understand that. Weird people, right? Not wanting that in the clubhouse, as it were. Well, there was an accusation, ended up being false, but the admitting that of an amount of behavior, he had a choice of transferring, or he could have sit, I think, 8 or 9 weeks. And then he comes back, and by that time, we had a quarterback in Bear Bachmeier that was already tearing it up. I don't think he gets his job back anyways, the starting quarterback. But BYU did this when they were on the cusp of going to the college football playoff the year before. So that's BYU, right? I'm proud to say the school took a stand, and some members of the church went immediately judgmental. That wasn't me. All I said was, from a practical standpoint, he's not going to stay at BYU because he can go somewhere else and play, because it's not against the rules at X school to go and play. And he played well. Like I said, went to the playoffs and had, by all accounts, a good season last year. This season, BYU again coming off another year where they could have been in the playoff. I'm not going to talk about the playoff tonight, but we were that close and should have been, in a lot of people's eyes, in the playoff. Going into this season, stacked team, and we were going to bring back a receiver that was going to be number one receiver and could have been possibly breaking records, and again, could have been a key to get to the playoffs. Again, an accusation made. Law even came in, right? I believe he was charged. Outside of all that, the school has already made its adjustment. He admitted what he did to the school. Punishment hasn't been meted out because the school wants to find out if there's anything else that the player didn't talk about, right? Because it's part. Oh, I hate this. My only point of bringing these two things up is BYU in both cases is willing to walk away from the immediate gain of the talent to sacrifice an opportunity they may have if they just let the moral code slacken. And every school has these chances. They make decisions every day. It might be gambling. It might be, make up X, Y, Z thing at school you can't do. You break that rule. The school has the option to do whatever it wants to do with suspensions and whatnot. BYU in both cases basically went against its own best interest to win football games, but long term, they decided to do something else. They made a different decision, right? I say all that to bring us back to right now. Texas Tech had a choice. Brendan Sorsby admitted to gambling, admitted to addiction, and says, I'm going into rehab. The first thing I told everybody, slow down, let's do empathy first, right? Let's be concerned about the individual. Let's make sure he gets the care he needs. Let's make sure the aftercare, once he comes out of rehab, he's put in a position to be successful. Those were all things that I said from the very beginning. I'm not going to talk about what other people said. I'm just saying what I said. That happened. And from that point forward, I was okay with everything that had happened. In fact, I thought what Texas Tech had done to provide support for Brendan Sorsby was incredible, right? Because everything he was going through was going to cost something, whether it's money, time, resources. So then the school rules him ineligible. The NCAA comes out and says, before this legal dispute, this temporary restraining order, the NCAA came out and said, nope, red line. You gambled on your own school, gambled on your own team, regardless of what else happened. That's always been a red line. You can't play this next year. This is where everybody starts to go all over the place with Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a choice at that point. Do you double down and say, no matter what, this is a kid that not only do we want to help him with his recovery, but we think in helping him with his recovery, we can go out and win football games? Or does Texas Tech take the, in my opinion, what would be the harder choice? And that is, we know that's a red line. There's not much we can do about that. You're welcome to go ahead and sue yourself, right? Brendan Sorsby, you're a grown human being. You can sue for yourself. But the school could have made a decision and said, you know what? This is just not something we feel comfortable doing moving forward. But this is where everybody loses the thread. Is it Texas Tech's fault that this kid came in with this cloud hovering over him? Now, you could argue Texas Tech should have done a background check. If they had done that, a basic background check, most of this stuff was known by Indiana and Cincinnati before in some way. Maybe not the extent, but they knew something had happened. Nobody told Tech, and Tech didn't take the time to do its own due diligence. So you can blame them for that. Again, they have to take responsibility for that action. But the flip side of that is, you don't have to then make it double, I don't want to say worse, because that's a value. You don't have to draw that negative attention to you. If you just say, you know what, we're going to let that go. And maybe we go later, we find out more details, we do bring him in near the end of the season or something like that. There's might be other facts brought to evidence that would mitigate what he'd done. That is a hard choice. Texas Tech was put in a no-win situation, and I've said that, and I've said that, and said that. So do you blame Texas Tech for the prior behavior? No, of course not. Do you blame Texas Tech for backing the kid up for his recovery and doing those things that would they think provide him support? No, not really. Where it becomes a problem is where you say, we're going to keep this team, we're going to include this kid that the NCAA has already said is ineligible, but some judge sitting somewhere in Texas says, well, no, we're going to restrain that. We're going to say, because the NCAA doesn't know how to administer their rules, because the NCAA is a screwed up entity that can't win a lawsuit to save their lives, he gets to play. You're a school that's got Texas Tech on the schedule. If Brendan Sorsby plays, do you forfeit? Do you walk away from the game? I don't know. It's a tough spot. But in my opinion, if it was Balmer University, based on my previous behaviors and things I've done, I would have said, support the kid to no end, but we got to move on. Now, that's just me. I am not judging Texas Tech fans for saying, I want my team to win. And anybody who's watching right now that says you wouldn't do everything you could to help your team win and be a booster, I would find that would be maybe questionable. But do you have to then double down and say, I also back up Texas Tech making this tactical decision? They're going to include a kid that is iffy eligibility-wise. I don't think you can do it. The college sports has always been red line. You gamble on your own team. Never mind the other stuff. Just on gambling your own team, that's it. And I said that's the first thing. The day it was announced, they said empathy. There needs to be accountability. So he needs to say this is where I'm willing to be accountable and make myself better. And then NFL supplemental draft. Because he will get drafted in the supplemental draft. I'm not sure what round. I think he's a third round talent. Risky with the gambling, but I do think you could do some things to help him. Maybe don't give him a cell phone. I don't know. I'm teasing. I think he's an NFL talent. You guys might not agree. You might think he should be never play football again. That's not me. So everybody has to make up their own mind, right? All right, I did that for 30 minutes. You guys have been awesome to listen. I appreciate it. Let me quickly rebump my show so I can show everybody we are talking and taking call-ins now. Give me 1 second. Taking live calls now. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to post that. All right, let's get to a few super chats and then I will go to comments. Let's see. Thanks again for everybody who's come in here and been with me tonight. MBM, Oklahoma State Cowboys in the house. Proud member of the College Football Mafia for 17 freaking months. You guys are like part of my family. I cannot tell you. So humble you've decided to give us some time and energy. You guys are awesome. Tech needs to cut Sorsby ASAP. They need to have a sit down with Cody Campbell and instruct him on laissez-faire approach. He is hurting the tech brand. If I just take this one comment in isolation, I would say the last 2 weeks have not been great for Cody Campbell. And I don't think it's been great for tech. It should not, in my opinion, have become public that he helped write this legislation that's going through Congress right now. That is literally wanting to restrain the Big Ten and the SEC. His name is not helping. So that by itself carries a lot of weight. I support Cody Campbell, the booster. I support Cody Campbell, the NIL provider, MMR, whatever that is, everything he does. Board of Regents, Cody, you go do it. You're a billionaire, man. I respect. If I had $1 billion, I'd do that for BYU as well. But right now, the attention that they're getting in this regard, I don't think is good. So anyway, great comment, MBM. It's great to have you here tonight. And then last but not least, a super chat from from Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, another OG member of the College Football Mafia family. What if a bookie wants Sorsby to throw a game? And that's it, isn't it? It's the integrity of the game. That's the question. That is the question. Teams don't want to play Texas Tech, or at least are complaining about it because they don't know if they're going to get a game that's straight up and down. I completely understand that and appreciate it. That is a risk. All right. That's enough. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you very much for the new members, Jason. And then thanks to everybody watching on X. If you're watching on X right now, jump over to YouTube, go to College Football Mafia, and hit the subscribe. I'd really appreciate you doing that. All right, let's do this. Let me get to my phone number, because my phone number is what matters. I want to hear from you guys right here. Let me steal this really. Give me 1 second. Everybody be patient with me for just 1 second. Control A, Control C. Sorry, I want to put this in front of this. Let me edit this. Let me do this. Let me do this. You guys are awesome, by the way, putting up with me like this. And let's go save. All right, here we go. This is what we're talking about tonight. Live call-ins now. 801-899, and let me turn on my phone number. 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. Call in and let's talk about it. If you're on X, just pick up the phone. Don't have to do it on YouTube or anything. If you're on X, you can also live comment, and I read those. Everybody's seen I read those comments that are coming, and then of course I read all super chats. So call in right now, 801-899-6203. Brendan Sorsby, temporary restraining order, gambling in college sports. What is Texas Tech thinking? If you're a Big 12 fan, I want to hear from you. If you're a fan of college football and you're looking at Texas Tech, do you want to play Texas Tech?
Call from
Marcus Williams.
Marcus freaking Williams. How you doing, man? Good evening.
Hi, how you doing today, Bomber?
Oh,
It's been
I'm
a good
doing
day, good
okay.
day.
I'd love to hear from you. This is a late one, so I appreciate you being up with me late.
Well, I'm out here in Phoenix, so it's not
Oh,
that late.
okay.
But
All right.
yeah. But the reason why I'm calling is to weigh in on the situation with Brendan Sorsby.
Please do.
So, given my upbringing, where I'm from, and if you look at like past indiscretions, like what happened with the NBA, with
Right.
Terry Rozier, stuff like that.
Yes.
When there's other elements involved in this that nothing has happened yet, obviously we don't know that, but what is stopping, the actual mafia from finding people that are compromised like Brendan Sorsby and getting the hooks into them and putting them on the take, which really compromises the game?
Well, obviously that's a concern, right? Point shaving.
Yeah.
They've done it in, I think, every sport now at this point has had somebody that's done gambling and been exposed like this. I don't think there is anything, frankly. If they have if they have them in a bind, at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is turn yourself into the law
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, I'm part of this, and I'm being blackmailed." Right?
And the reason why I say Texas Tech is, to clarify my comment, was they could be, by actually playing Sorsby, they could be unknowingly inviting that element into the game.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know someone is compromised and they come to you knowing that they have addiction, there's nothing that can stop a bookie from having Sorsby throw a game. There's nothing stopping a criminal element as far as any type of gang or organization that can offer money to throw a game. There's so many unintended consequences that can happen from playing him that it could ruin just the total integrity of the game. So comparing this, and I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm biased, but comparing this to Michigan getting a tactical advantage is two different things. He actually broke the law.
Yes.
It's not the equivalent. It's apples and oranges.
Well, let me ask you. I'm glad you said that. And everybody, please let me know if you can hear Marcus. I just want to make sure every once in a while I screw up the audio. So if you can't hear him, please let me know in the comments. I'm trying to track that. I think that's my bigger concern. I'll be perfectly honest. I have a bigger concern about the exposure his legal issues bring.
Yes.
Like, why is he?
Yeah.
Tell me why the FBI. He was betting across state lines underage on a federally controlled application, gambling in general. Doesn't matter which thing you used. Why is he? I mean, I'm not saying he should be. I'm asking the question, why have we not heard anything about the legal aspects? Because if it was me and I was a booster for Texas Tech, I would be more concerned not about anything else than the legal liability that you're putting the school in. See what I mean?
Yeah, I most definitely do. I don't know the answer to that. I would say Cody Campbell has, ties to Trump, so he probably has ties to Cash Patel too, who's the director of the FBI.
Yes.
So I'm assuming he might have influence there to why he's not being, investigated and eventually indicted.
Right.
But I can't fault the NCAA here though. They're not really at fault. They ruled him ineligible. The NCAA did their thing.
I agree.
For once.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
What's crazy to me is because I was born in Iowa City. I'm from Iowa City, but I went to the University of Michigan.
Okay.
There was a player a couple years ago named Noah Shannon, played for Iowa. He was went to Brendan. He bet I think it was like $15 on on the app for Caitlin Clark for Iowa to win it all, and he lost his last year of eligibility, and Iowa just they didn't pursue it. They just they let it be. So
Right.
the fact that Texas Tech actually is siding with him is just crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, crazy might be the best word for it. I'm just confused. A good friend, somebody who I really paid attention to his opinion, sent me a text today and said that he was a little confused by some of my postings on, I keep saying Twitter, but on X, about how he should be handled, how Brendan Sorsby should be handled right now. And all I could say is, Mike, there's never been a confusion in my opinion. It's always been empathy first, accountability second. And a 2-game suspension is not accountability.
No.
And let me add this to you. I love this comment from Ears Fan 21. He's up late. Mountaineers fan from the West Virginia Mountaineers. Good to see you tonight. The courts ruled he's eligible. They didn't say he has to play. That's insightful.
True. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So the NCAA can't punish him basically, but the Big 12 and Texas Tech can. That's
right.
That injunction only pertains to the NCAA. So it's Brett Yormark, Coach McGuire. They have a lot on their hands right here because it's all on their hands basically. They literally can save the integrity of the game if they decide just to say, hey, this can't stand, but it's just it's really a shame, to see this happening, but there's a lot of blowback that can come from this if he does play. There's a lot that can.
I agree with you. I think that's the simplest way to put it is what everybody thought was going to be a simple no, which would have cleaned everything up for everybody. All this judge did is just make it. He threw propane, gasoline, jet fuel, all on a pile of kindling, and then threw a flamethrower on it, which is basically the NCAA and their inability to enforce anything.
Yeah,
it is really an NCAA problem, in my opinion.
It is a problem, but it isn't because they did the right thing. They ruled him ineligible.
They ruled him ineligible, but at the same time, they don't have rules in place that are solid enough for the judge to say, see, the NCAA wrote this fantastic rule. There's no way to get out of it. There's no way you could have a temporary restraining order. The NCAA is one that is pursuing the punishment part, right? They already said he was ineligible, but Kessler stands up there and tears apart the NCAA's rules and says they're ineffective. They don't know how to write a rule to save themselves. And so now I have to let him play because you guys don't have anything to enforce.
Well, let's be real here. It really was a kangaroo court. You had a retired judge that has ties to Texas, that is a Texas Tech grad.
Right.
In a different county. It wasn't even in the county that Lubbock was in. It was in Fort Worth, where it was in Tarrant County, where Cody Kell actually lives at. And and there was 4 Texas Tech the 4 Tech on the appeals court. The 4 appeals judges are Texas Tech graduates. So let's just be real. It was all it was a kangaroo court. There wasn't really going to be justice done anyway. The writing was on the wall. They had no chance.
I hope that's not true.
Oh, it is.
But
it's definitely true.
Unfortunately, the problem is there's enough gray area in there for people to make up their own minds, right? And make a decision whether it's true or not. So
what I don't get is how does this judge, if you know that you are retired, you're a Texas Tech graduate,
why don't you recuse yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the first guy did. Yourself. The first judge did. The first judge that got the case, he recused himself, and then they got another judge, which is the one you're describing, who also has ties to Tech. So Now, and I'll let you go, Marcus. So I'm going to see if I can get some more calls in. But
Okay.
something that you're always really good is bringing up the fact that it's not just tech.
No.
Insert almost any school in that position. Every school has to make up their mind.
Yeah.
And I'll also pose this question to you. Let's assume you're a poor school. I'm not going to name a school, but you're a poor school who doesn't have billionaire booster after billionaire booster behind you to pursue these lawsuits and temporary restraining orders. Do you have the wherewithal to sue to get a temporary restraining order? I would argue you wouldn't.
No.
So,
No.
yeah, tech is in a unique situation here, right?
This is literally a rules for thee, but not for me type of situation.
It's ugly. There's no doubt about it. It's ugly. All right, Marcus, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for calling in.
Have a good one,
Appreciate
Bomber.
it.
Have a good
Good to
night.
see you later. Okay, bye.
Yep. Bye.
Oh man, Marcus Morris in the house, University of Michigan. Another phone call here. Here we go. Oh, somebody call back. You just got disconnected. I didn't catch the number. Call me back, and I'll talk to you. I didn't hit anything, so I'm not sure what happened, but 801-899-6203, 801-899-6203. Call me back, and I want to talk to you more than I talk about myself tonight. While we're waiting for somebody to call in, it could be anybody. Anybody can call in right now. It's a free country. I'm going to get some more comments. Let's see, Ty Kev. Good to have you here, Ty Kev. Welcome to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. All right, here we go.
Call from
Evil Badger.
The Evil Badger. What's going on, Ryan?
Well, the reason why I'm up late is the Brewers are playing the soon to be Las Vegas A's in Vegas, so they're playing late.
Okay.
Um,
Following baseball. That's always fun.
but the reason why I called is I believe with all this, with Texas Tech, with the Cantwell Cruz bill and the backing of Sorsby, which I think is the worst of the two, I think that every school should boycott Texas Tech.
So you're on the side that says Texas Tech is making some conscious decisions here, and those decisions have consequences. And one of those consequences is nobody wants to play you because they don't want a game that either could be questionable or that it might end up being forfeited anyway.
Exactly.
Okay.
How can any team that's playing Texas Tech think that it's going to be a legit?
I don't think there's a way you can
just
prove that, Ryan. You can't prove something didn't happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it just gives you the sense that something isn't right, and the fact that he's been betting on football ever since he got into Indiana, which I think Indiana and Cincinnati should be looked into.
Right.
He's got a problem, and I think he should get the help that he needs. He should not be playing football.
Right.
I don't think any NFL team should even consider drafting him next year.
Okay.
If he wants to go to UFL, you can do that, or the Canadian Football League.
Well, let me ask you this, Ryan. Let me ask you this. So let's assume his addiction was alcohol. And he was underage drinking. He was having fifths of JD sent to him across state lines. All these things that he did underage. Those all are laws he's breaking. But He's not necessarily putting the veracity of the football game in question just because he's an alcoholic, right? The difference is
Right.
gambling is a
But
red line that's always been there, right? You can't gamble at all, ever on your own team.
it's the integrity of the game that's in question now. And
Right.
it doesn't only affect Texas Tech games. It'll affect people will question every game now.
I don't from the temporary restraining order standpoint, I agree. The NCAA's got real problems. Yeah. I think my opinion. I think the NCAA should go away for college football. If you're new to this channel, you know that I support a college football only conference governance. Doesn't really matter what conference you're in. Let's put the teams in and let's play football and walk away from the NCAA.
The Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC should tell the Big 12 that they will not schedule Texas Tech in any sport ongoing, at least until Cody Campbell is no longer involved with Texas Tech.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're going for the hammer. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
I am going for the hammer.
Okay. Hey, look, everybody's got their opinion. So, Brian, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling in. It's great to hear from you.
All right. Thank you.
Go Brewers. Right. Go Brewers. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. See you later.
Thanks for taking my call. All right.
Ryan, you can call me anytime. Thank you. He is Ryan Lee. Oh, thank you so much, Ryan, for calling in tonight. It's great to hear from you. Wisconsin Badger fan, also a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers. That's good to know. Ryan, I hope you're doing well, and we can't wait for you to get that new chair. That'll be really exciting, and we want pictures, as you know. Call in right now. We'll get to more comments. Let's quickly do a reset. I've been doing this an hour. Okay, well, let me take another call, and then I'll do a reset.
Call from
Daniel
V. Gygax, member of the College Football Mafia family, somebody that helps us keep the thing going around here. By the way, Daniel, great short today. If you missed it, everybody, it's on the short videos on the main page of College Football Mafia. Daniel gave us his 2 cents. So what's going on tonight, Daniel?
Where is your mark with all this Sorsby?
Well, didn't he do? I thought he did a post, didn't he?
He did, but that post didn't really mean anything.
It didn't. Well, yeah.
Why wasn't he there with the NCAA whenever that injunction was filed?
Yes.
Why was he not there saying, okay, Sorsby, you have to sit? And this is what kind of baffles me so much. Why is nobody at Texas Tech saying, sorry, Brendan, you have to sit. We cannot have you play.
Well,
and I know that they've got I know that there's a lot of people that have a lot of money tied up in Sorsby playing this year.
Right.
But guess what? You have to draw the line. Whenever you're gambling on a quarterback on your team on the over-under and take that under knowing that quarterback is that bad, that right there is the worst red line going.
Yeah, so okay. You talked about a couple things there. I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, thank you, Skaven. Yes. Everybody knows this is a cheat code. If you use my name in a comment, generally I'll try to pick it. Anyways, just that's an insider hint. If you're new to the channel, one way to get your comment read. Okay, so you talked about a couple things there. First, let's talk about Brett Yormark. I can't find the bookmark, but Brett Yormark on behalf of the Big 12 came out and said, not a lot of nothing, really. He didn't really make any big declarative statements, just to the point of we support the NCAA. We believe that the injunction should have been upheld, or he shouldn't be able to play. Something vanilla. I can't remember what it was. And from that, he also made an announcement that they said to 15 members, 15 ADs in the Big 12, they did a poll and they said they'd prefer not to play Big 12, or sorry, play Texas Tech if Brendan Sorsby is the quarterback. Now,
correct.
Now, I still find that hard to believe. That feels like a troll to me. I called it a troll at the time. There have been a lot of rumors to that effect. I think there have been reports to certain things that have happened. But right now, as of this second, unless somebody corrects me, Big 12 didn't come out and actually make a declaration. They just said if it was up to them, they would do it.
I found the exact quote.
Okay, good. Well, go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. We had a thoughtful and productive conversation with our athletic directors today as we continue to work through the broader implications of this situation. Many of our athletic directors voiced their opinions. We will continue to have open and honest dialogue amongst the groups, and until something to report, these conversations will remain within the conference. So basically, he's saying they're talking, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. There was no declaration, no or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but if this was probably any other school, he might have been, I wouldn't say cut, but they would sit there and say, you cannot play for us.
Well, I can only speak for my school. You can speak for West Virginia. But for my school, that would have happened already.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. BYU would have cut him, would have sat him quickly.
Yes, it would have been no question. And then we let the recovery process go through as far as we were concerned.
Yeah.
We didn't see he broke a law while he was at BYU. We can't enforce laws that he broke in Indiana or he broke in some other place. That's not something that BYU isn't doesn't really follow the vein that way. They could eventually bring him back if somebody goes through. It's a long process, but you can come back and play at BYU. But there's opportunities you can go other places and play the next day. You don't have to go through that extra level. Whereas West Virginia puts out let's say West Virginia put out $2 million to bring in Sorsby. That's a lot at West Virginia. And then you find out this happens. What would you rely on West Virginia to do as a booster, as a graduate? What would you expect your school to do?
Cut him. I would expect WVU to cut him. Just due to the fact that
interesting.
There's certain red lines that you do not cross.
There are red lines.
And if you are gambling on your team and you are gambling on the quarterback for that team, knowing how bad that quarterback is. Yeah. That right there says that guy needs to go.
Well, my simplest question is, and I'm not going to get to the second part of what you said after your mark. I apologize. I do want to get to this, though.
That's fine.
At the end of this, Daniel, there has to be a decision made whether you're going to double and triple down, run the risk of all of this fallout. And you and I both know the popular view now of the Big 12 is being affected by what Texas Tech / what Cody Campbell is putting his hand up and saying, we want more. It is reflecting on other schools in the conference. That's not right, but the perception is not helping. So
no, it's not.
I think you suspend him. I wouldn't cut him. As far as I know, BYU, the only time BYU's cut anybody immediately is if they went to jail. They immediately suspend people, but cutting him, I don't know. If you cut him, then doesn't he lose all the resources he needs to recover? If that's something to care about.
I wouldn't know. They could still keep him there on campus, but not have him part of the athletic department, you could still have people there on campus helping.
Right. I think he
It
has
just
to
depends
be
on
Yeah.
who you have there on campus to help.
right. Right. No, I get it. I understand. Empathy first, accountability second. You know how many Texas Tech people we have in the college football mafia
Oh yeah,
family. We have some
a
amazing
lot.
Texas Tech people that watch us, and the reason they continue to watch us is one, we don't blow BS up their shirts. They want the respect they've
Yeah,
earned, so they're treated as tip top, and I respect their opinions, and I'm just wanting to say, who am I to judge? First of all, and two, we do have to say what do we want to represent? And I guess that's to me that's the bigger question. Tech people have to answer that question. What do you want your school to represent? You just said how where you would expect West Virginia to be represented.
yeah,
How does Texas Tech want to be represented?
and that's where they're going to fall into issues. Let's say the SEC, Big Ten, and ACC said we're no longer going to schedule a Texas Tech game. Well, that's going to hurt them for all their other sports.
Right.
Because they're going to need those other teams just for strength of schedule. They can't load up on G6. And let's say that something happens. I mean, let's say that they get things together with the Big 12 office and suspend them. I mean, this was only the NCAA suspending them.
Right.
Let's say the Big 12 goes in and says, okay, you are no longer on this team. Then what? I mean,
well, they could get sued instead of suing
well,
the NCAA.
yeah,
Conference could get sued. I mean, say that out loud, Daniel. If they're willing to sue
yeah,
the NCAA, well, wouldn't they be willing to sue the Big 12? I mean, everybody who's watching this right now, whether you hate Texas Tech or don't, whether you think it's something they should be doing or not supporting, at the end of the day, does anybody here really question if the Big 12 told them you're suspended? And oh, by the way, Texas Tech, if you play him, you'll forfeit all your games. Does anybody think they're not going to go to a judge and say you can't do that? If they're willing to
true. And
sue, if they're
they'll go
willing to
right
sue
there
the
in Lubbock
NCAA,
again.
well, I mean, what's to stop them from suing the league?
True. And the league office is located there in Texas. So
Well, yeah, it's just down the street. Yeah.
would, well, not quite down the street. Lubbock to Arlington, Texas is quite the haul, but
You know what
you
I'm
get
saying.
the idea.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know, because this was a Texas court judge and I thought it was a federal judge. And I messed up.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a state
yesterday.
judge. Yeah, it's a state judge.
It was a state judge.
Yes.
And I thought it was a federal judge whenever I was on Rock Show yesterday morning. And I'm like, by the time it all gets cycled through, we're talking years from now. And they do have a calendar for whenever they'll hear the appeal, and it's not until February.
I know. So if you're Brendan Sorsby, you want to play in the NFL. That has to be your dream. But they were going to get 1
Yes.
year out of him for $5 million. That's not a small amount of money. He wanted that money
No.
before going to the NFL. He could have been drafted in April, but he didn't do that. And now he's going this route because he wants his $5 million. And
Yes.
at the end of the day, if he fights this and continues to fight this, the NFL is going to look at it and say, we don't want this hassle. We just don't want to put up with this. The NFL doesn't want to come back in 2 years and have some judge say, oh, by the way, everything you did with this kid was illegal. You know, the Cincinnati, Cincinnati drafted him and now forfeit all their games. No, I'm talking Bengals. I'm talking about the Bengals.
Yeah, I know.
If he goes to the NFL, that's what could happen.
And I made this call on your show whenever all this stuff was happening with Harbaugh at Michigan. I said that nobody in the NFL would touch Harbaugh, and I was wrong.
Yeah, he went and played. He's now in San
Yeah,
Diego.
then he took the job. Yeah, took the job. Yeah, took the job with the Chargers.
Yeah, right.
And anytime I try to do a prediction, it's wrong. Would the NFL have an appetite to pick him? Maybe, I don't know.
He's got an NFL arm.
Name it. Yeah, he does. But there's a lot of NFL arms that are in college right now that don't have this baggage.
Hey, look, I'm not. Yeah, again, we're just talking about things that could possibly happen. I'm agreeing with you. There are going to be some people that are going to look at that and say it's just not worth the risk. It's just not worth the effort and the time. We're living in a world, though, where Texas Tech wants to win a national championship just like Indiana did. And right or wrong, they have the resources within the rules to put the best team on the field to win games, to potentially win a national championship. And if you compare to Michigan, Michigan was cheating. We said it at the time.
Yes.
Michigan was actually cheating. It was proven it was cheating. And yet, everybody was wink, smile, and wave. They win the Natty. And then it comes out to be this other thing. And now, once you got the national championship, how many of those are taken away from people?
Ooh.
USC lost one.
USC.
I can't remember.
UNLV.
UNLV and basketball.
UNLV.
Yeah, that's right.
Basketball.
Yes.
Well,
UNLV didn't win the national championship, though, because of that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I all comes to mind is USC.
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple. Right? There's a couple.
Oh, I'm trying to think. There was another one that point shaving, and I can't remember who it was, but
Louisville. Yeah, they're right here getting this from Grateful Trojan. He agrees with you with Louisville for basketball.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking about like in the 50s, and I can't remember who it was that
I don't know.
they had to vacate a championship
City,
too.
yeah,
I can't remember
City
who it
College of New York or something like
yeah,
that.
CCNY. Yeah,
yeah.
That was it. Yeah,
Right.
They had to vacate a championship too because of point shaving. But
point shaving, yeah.
Yeah, but it's rare.
Yeah, no, I don't. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
People remember championships. They don't remember how you got the championship in general. Deflategate, reading people's signs, getting radio signals. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah. I mean, Houston Astros didn't have to give up their World Series.
Okay, right.
Yeah, after that.
So what is the cost for a national championship? At the end of the day, if they were to win a national championship this year, and as Jason says, as a lot of people have said, the court, and you mentioned this, the court docket is jammed up for months. Thanks, Jason, by the way, for renewing your membership. It's great to see you tonight. If the league sanctions Tech under bylaw 3.6, any resulting lawsuit won't be heard till after the season. So Texas Tech goes out and wins a national championship. If nobody does anything about it and waits for this lawsuit to either go away or be finalized, what happens?
Yeah. Nothing.
Right.
Probably nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel, I'm going to let you go. Hey, good job tonight, by the way. Great video.
All right. Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye. We'll see you later. He is Daniel, the Gygax, in the house. Good to see you, Daniel. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jason, for that comment. Appreciate it. We do have some business to make do. First of all, the evil badger Ryan Willie gifts 5 college football mafia memberships. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. I'm going to do applause. Applause again. All right, I'm going to answer this.
Call from
Replica.
Hey, Replica, stay with me for just a second, okay?
What was that?
Can you turn off your audio? We're getting feedback.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing twice. It's like you got it on your laptop or your phone.
Okay, hold on.
Are you there?
Hey there, how are you?
Rock and Rant is in the channel too. Okay, too much is going on. You guys are overpowering me. All right, first of all, Replica, can you hang on?
Go ahead.
Okay, very good. Your audio works. Let me get through this. Ryan Willie gave 5 new College Football Mafia memberships. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate you. Let's get these names called out. Marky Crenshaw, Age Archer, Daniel Jett, Bigfoot Hunter, and Oregon Stacker. All you people, a lot of you new, at least to me. Thank you for being here tonight. Thanks for watching live. You received a gifted membership to the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much for being here tonight. After the show's over, go into our library. I need water and nobody's giving it to me. I've got water somewhere here, I think. Give me 1 second. Okay, I do have water. Take your gifted membership, and after the show tonight, go into our library and look at all our member videos, some of the best you're going to find on YouTube, and we talk about everything in college football. And last but not least, give a good shout out to Ryan in the comment section for giving you something. And if you have the ability, consider paying it forward and giving one to somebody else. All right. And the way you do that, by the way, is next to the comment section, you have a little dollar bill. Click it. You can gift memberships. Okay. Sorry, that was a lot to do. Okay, first of all, I want to welcome Rock and Rant for joining. How you doing, Rock?
I'm doing good. I'm going to stay off camera. I don't have my makeup on, so.
No, that's quite all
And
right. I just want to
I
make
think
sure.
I heard Replica in the background, right?
He is. Replica's right there. Replica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so go ahead. We're going to listen to you for a minute. What's up?
Nothing much. I just wanted to kind of clarify a couple things regarding the Sorsby stuff, and then just give my take.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of misplaced anger towards Yormark. We have to remember that he works for the university presidents. He's not a commissioner like Goodell, where he has like power to, levy decisions. So I wouldn't read too much into his comments. He has to put out a statement, but he's not going to say their intent before A, there's a consensus amongst the presidents, and B, they're not going to make a decision that can end up being tried in court. When the judge, who by the way is a Houston Law graduate, he's not a Tech alum. When they made that ruling, they stated that the NCAA. I'm reading the ruling right now. The NCAA is prohibited from. They're prohibited. From allowing keeping Sorsby from practicing, playing, or otherwise participating on Texas Tech's football team for the 2022 season. And the second part of that ruling is the affiliates. Any university that competes against Texas Tech cannot enforce bylaw 12.9.42 rule of restitution. So basically, the judge hedged Sorsby's bets to the point where they can't specifically punish him because the Big 12 is a member of the NCAA. Like that has to be remembered in this conversation.
Right.
So they follow the bylaws of the NCAA. They will be subject to this ruling. What they can do is reprimand them for conduct detrimental to the league, and that wouldn't be specifically a Sorsby thing. We can go over a number of things from the tortillas, throwing batteries, coins, the situation with Lance Leipold, Cody Campbell's public comments against Yormark, criticizing the decision to move the Houston game to Friday night. That's it's a conflict of interest with the business partners, Fox and ESPN, who get to decide when those kickoff times are. So they could rule them ineligible to play in the Big 12 championship game based off that collective of things that have happened over the last few years, and what, in my opinion, they would argue is a lack of institutional control. Cody Campbell is the chairman of the Board of Regents at this at Texas Tech, and he has consolidated so much power to the point where nobody in that building is willing to go against him.
I believe that.
He's calling the shots on this, and I think there's two motives Number one is his return on investment. You know, they obviously paid him $5 million, and he wants to, see a return on that. But the other part is, I think he's intentionally exposing a flaw in the legality of the NCAA's bylaws in an attempt to try to force this Protecting College Sports Act through. I think he's made the decision to just completely wage war on the entire sport. He does not have any regard for these commissioners. Yormar, Sankey Petit, he constantly goes after them. He spent millions on advertising, criticizing him, and he continues to antagonize these commissioners. He does not feel like they are necessary. And I read his op-ed that he put in, I believe it was USA Today. He doesn't even consider the NCAA a legal institution, a legal governing body. So I think this is an attempt to circumvent the rules to such a degree that everybody comes together and tries to take action, which what he would hope is this bill. But I think this is just a hostile takeover at Texas Tech, and he's willing to go whatever lengths to not only get a return on his investment that he's put into the program, but to kind of force people away from what college football has been under the NCAA.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, and I know you're a subject matter expert. Rock and Rant, can you hear? Did you hear Replica's call?
Yeah, I heard everything he said.
Replica, can you hear Rock and Rant?
I cannot hear Rock and Rant.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem. Rock, go ahead and give your comment, and then I will repeat it back to him. I haven't fixed that part of the technology yet.
Understood. The other thing you could do is, if we do it, is have tell Replica to put himself on mute and listen to the feed for a few seconds. But it's probably easier for you just to relay this. What Replica just said makes sense. I don't think the Big 12 is doing anything, and this is why I don't think they're going to do anything. Because their chance to have done something was before the hearing happened, right?
I agree. Yes.
And what I mean by, not that they could have taken action against Texas Tech, but because they did not reprimand verbally Texas Tech before the hearing, when Texas Tech took the side of somebody who was basically suing to take away the red line rule of college sports, because they were probably, like most of us, couldn't believe they would have to deal with this after, that it would actually go the wrong way.
Hang on a second, Rock. Hang on 1 second. Replica, could you put me and you talking on mute, and you could start listening on the feed? Because I think I'd like you to hear what Rock and Rant is saying. Is that something you could do?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you a second, and then I'm going to turn Rock loose. All right. You can't talk back to me, so I'm just going to assume you're doing it. Okay, Rock, keep going.
Yeah, and then I'll stop, and you can tell them that there'll be a delay for everybody else who's listening to us. Sorry, technology. But so they want, because they didn't believe that, because no one rightfully thought that this would be something that he would win.
Yes.
Even unless you were in the conspiracy theory zone, which I'm not necessarily, right, in general. I just couldn't imagine this. So I was completely wrong that the court would rule that way. And so now that it's this point, if the things that Replica is saying in terms of the bylaws, but more specifically what the court is saying, if they're saying that Big 12 is essentially a sub-entity of the NCAA as an organization, then there probably is very limited things that they can do. They certainly can't do anything to Sorsby in that very specific situation. The one thing I think is interesting is, and I know it's not in effect yet, right? Because not all the other signees to the College Sports Commission have signed the thing that would say that they will agree to be governed, right? But the Big 12 members have. So ironically, Texas Tech has already agreed to have to listen to somebody else's rules, but that has not been put into place yet, generally, right? Not that it would work in this specific case because it's the CSC versus the NCAA. So in theory, but in principle, they've agreed to, we can be regulated by an entity we're associated with, also meaning the Big 12. But I do think you're right that if they tried, they would go to court over that, right?
Yes.
So I just don't see the Big 12 doing anything, either because one, they really can't, or two, because of that fear. But that makes the entire conference look toothless, and almost guarantees the things that Cody Campbell does not want to happen will happen in the other conferences. And I'll shut up so you can get Replica back on.
Okay. Come on back, Replica. You start talking when you hear us. You can feedback on what Rock said. Uh, you there?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, go
I
ahead. So go ahead
agree.
and reply.
I agree with what you're saying, which is why I stated they would have to frame this as conduct detrimental to the league, and that's why I brought up the tortillas, throwing batteries on the field, criticizing the TV partners. They would have to bring all that together and levy that as an argument to say, hey, we're going to punish you because we perceive there's a lack of institutional control at the university. They're not going to be able to punish Texas Tech if they play Sorsby because of this injunction. And the way the appeals court process works, it would take several months for them to even review this case. So it's essentially a bait and switch. You sue the NCAA to get an injunction, you get granted temporary relief, and by the time this court date comes around, they may not even need to move forward with this because he would have already completed the season, put his film out, worked out whatever issues as far as PR to try to get an NFL career. So this is going to be a decision. If there's any decision made, it has to come from the university presidents. It's not going to be your market because they're just going to run back to court. And Texas Tech is operating under the, hey, we didn't go to court and sue them. He went and did this on his own. It's an invisible hand. Like, we all know who's the mastermind, but unless you can legally prove that, then Texas Tech can feign ignorance to say this has nothing to do with us.
So let me bring this up, and let's see if Rock can reply, and then I'll give you the last word. The thing I would say, Rock, is what is there to this conspiracy theory, which Replica very finely put to the nose, of the fact that this would have been anything, but Cody Campbell's just trying to break the wheel. This just happens to be the method to do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I am somebody who has pivoted from thinking Cody Campbell had some good ideas to Cody Campbell is not a good player in all of this, and he's a detriment to Texas Tech. Not from the NIL. Everyone who complains about them having money to support the program in NIL
that doesn't bother me.
is that's just absolutely ridiculous. That's a lot of crocodile tears to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and that's exactly what he should be doing and where he would be. Here's the thing I would say on that, right? Is I think there's a problem when the average college football fan in America probably has a better chance of knowing Cody Campbell's name than Joey McGuire's name.
Yes.
And that's what Texas Tech has allowed themselves to do. I don't know whether, Cody has this master plan to do that. He has access, and that is all he's really needed. But I actually do think that what has transpired here, even if he did have the plan that Reck was talking about, which I wouldn't put it past Cody, has probably made it so the legislation he wants, or at least the aspects of it, will actually not ever pass now.
Yeah.
Because he has become a lightning rod. Texas Tech has become the straw man for every single thing that is built up over time in college football that people are
100%.
frustrated with and have gone now to the final moment of crossing the red line that unified a world that is never unified ever against them because of him and because of a judge's ruling. If Texas Tech had never made the statements that they did prior to the hearing, and Brendan Sorsby was perceived to just be going, and the only statements that Texas Tech had made were about supporting him in his recovery,
Yep.
then I think the entire world right now would be very different for Texas Tech. they would still be being probably pressured to not play him in light of this ruling. But because before it happened, they basically were saying, yeah, we want to get the gambling rules overturned because our guy had already admitted it. They
Right.
brought this onto themselves by their earlier statements, and now they have no way to really sort of turn that around other than by keeping legal recourses at their side whenever they might need them.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with a lot of that. I'm going to give you last word, Replica. You there?
Yeah, I was just listening to his last little bit.
No bet.
I don't. I at first I thought this was Will Hammond is injured. No, they're not sure about him being ready for the season. But at this point, I don't think his health has anything to do with this. I think this is a guy who's not used to being the main character. He's been thrusted into the spotlight, and he's consolidated so much power that he's just. It's like he's waging a proxy war against the other conferences and then against the NCAA. And
It sure seems like that.
he got the craziest part about it, Sorsby's not even a good enough quarterback to go through all this hassle. Is he that much better than Will to the point where he tips your championship odds in an overwhelming favor? I don't think so. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's not even a top 5 quarterback in the conference. And you're putting your whole reputation on the line. And it's sad that nobody within the university is actually pulling him to the side and say, look at the damage it causing. But, I don't think this is the type of guy who can be reasoned with. And there's another story that's completely flown under the radar, but a USC linebacker named Talanoa Ely is suing the NCAA over the CSE clearinghouse.
Yeah, no, I saw that today. I'm going to cover that tomorrow on my show. But yeah, that's long overdue, right? I predicted the lawsuit was going to come within 60 days of the original announcement of the CSC NIL Go thing. I think the whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah, very, very, very precarious times in college football right now.
I appreciate.
It really does feel like we're headed toward the cliff.
I appreciate you calling in, Replica. It's great to talk to you, as always.
Thank you, Bomber, and thank you, Rock.
You
Keep
bet.
up the great work.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me get to this here. I turned off the phones just so I could get a breather here with Rock and Rant, who's joined the show. Thank you so much, Rock, for helping me out here tonight. I think you've been very clear and concise over to some of the challenges that are going on now. Your school is Miami, also not a school that's in the P2, and you're in a conference that in the past hasn't done great things for your school. How do you think Texas Tech moves forward now? They're all in at this point.
Well, there's a couple things. I feel bad for the average Texas Tech fan, right? Because you're catching strays all over the place in a way that, look, I know what it's like to be at a villain program, which is why I always say, even if it's not the same level, like you guys are giving Miami 20 years ago a run for your money the last few days, but embrace the hate. The other thing to do is don't deflect, right?
Yeah.
Don't deflect. Don't bring up Georgia. Let us bring up Georgia.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's not what you do, because it's not the thing is about like Georgia is the drive with their driving stuff, right? And I say this having been someone who I've gone on my own show, and Miami's had similar issues to what Georgia's had, including a player who wound up killing people and has a trial starting in the summer, and railed against my team because you got to be intellectually consistent and honest about how you handle things. Let others do that. What your answer, if you're a Texas Tech fan and you're not in the middle, is to go, listen, I really don't like how this is. I think, gambling has been the sacrosanct thing, but, he has the eligibility to court rule that way. And, I'm going to root for my team. Like, that's it. You just leave. Like, leave. Don't keep going back and forth. Don't sit there and talk about what Michigan, like, that literally, Hey, Your Honor, listen, I know this other dude. I saw somebody else rob somebody yesterday.
I
So,
know,
like,
right?
why are you looking at me? I'm not the only one who robbed. This
That's
doesn't
that's
work. It's a
that's total gaslighting, Rock. It is gaslighting. You're using somebody else's sins, if you want to use that as a
right.
catch-all, as a
Just don't,
protection for your own decisions. Come
yeah.
on now. What are we
And when
doing?
Cody's doing that, like as an entitled billionaire on Twitter in the cesspool that is Twitter, and I'm going to call it Twitter because X is even more of a cesspool. I'm going to remember Twitter when it was only a little bit of a cesspool. When you do that, it's not really helping your cause. I know you're feeling like under attack, right? And it's understandable for that to be the case because look, there's like four other schools that were this close to getting Brendan Sorsby. Miami was
Yeah,
one of them, by the way.
right.
LSU could have been the same situation. You guys just have the great misfortune of being the wrong player at the wrong time at the wrong school with the wrong judge,
I
right?
agree.
That
I agree.
that's what happened. That's what happened. But the thing you guys have going on is Cody Campbell went from being like Batman to the Dark Knight and being, the villain, live long enough to become a villain. And he's become a villain, and that has drawn even more attention. So you're not even just getting you you happen to have the player who a court rule could break the only rule that almost everybody agreed the NCAA needs to enforce, and
Yes.
then you have the showman of Cody Campbell being behind that and then saying stuff like his op-ed or going on of saying things that really sound like the president, right? Only, other than saying not using the words only I can fix it. I'm trying as hard as I
Right.
can to fix it,
Right. Right.
right? That's what
Right.
he's done. And you just become this like magnet where all of the crap that is around college football is all being magnetically drawn to Lubbock. And for the school, I don't know, man. Where's the president or chancellor?
The president came out and they put out a statement. I don't have it bookmarked. Didn't come loaded with bookmarks. I was going to do some of that tomorrow night, but the school
I mean,
did say something.
I saw Kirby Hokut's one
Oh wait, no,
yesterday.
that's who it was. It was the AD, not the president. Yeah, it was the
Well, now
AD.
you have the athletic department essentially
Yeah,
running the school, right? Which is
right.
always a
Well,
dangerous
that's
thing,
yeah.
right?
We
Publicly,
know that's
public
true.
persona. So the optics aren't there. So I feel bad for
Right.
Texas Tech because you didn't necessarily deserve all of these strays, but the Cody monster's gotten a little bit out of control, which has basically become a beacon for everyone to do this. And then this thing that nobody thought would happen, and now you just become the poster child for all of it. And the deflection does not help your case. Like, just
Own
hey,
it.
don't agree with the
Own it.
decision.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't what I wish would happen. I wish things had been different. I wish there had still been a
Right.
spring transfer portal.
Right.
I wish we had known earlier, but like now the court's saying in there, and he's on the team, and I'm going to root for my team. You don't even have to say like I hope he plays. You just go, I'm going to root for my team. You just leave it and back out and just let the thing
Right.
die down. What the
I
school does, I don't know. I don't know
I've
because it seems like you're just going to keep fighting.
I've heard from so many Texas Tech fans on Twitter, on the show, feedback that basically says we love that our school's aggressive, but we're not here to break rules. We don't want negative attention drawn to our university without making a judgment about an athlete that you honestly have zero influence on whether he plays or not. Just as a
Right.
fan, the Texas Tech has some of the best fans out there. And so I'm very, very empathetic to the condition they're in. They want to, as you say, root for their team. They shouldn't have to root for the Sorsbys. And that's what I've been saying from the very beginning. If he wins this, let me ask you, well, let me get to this super chat really quick. Marcus Williams, way long ago. Marcus, I'm getting to it now. I apologize. $2 super chat says if he plays college football, will look like the 1950s and 60s boxing. That's funny. It's an insider joke. If you know who that is and what that was, that's a thing. So you're now a Texas Tech fan. You want your team to be successful. What do you do now, Rock?
Don't act like you're the GM. You literally have no control over who they're going to play, and just support your team with not necessarily supporting all of your decisions. The problem with this entire country right now is that whatever tribe we're in, people feel this incessant need to defend everything in there, as
Yes,
opposed to it's okay to be in a political party and not agree with the decisions they make all the time. Just because
agreed.
you don't have to be aligned with everything 100% of the time to be my ally, right?
Right.
Or to
That's
be
right.
a fan. You're allowed. I had a team that sucked administration wise for 20 years. We didn't just sit there and say everything was great, right? We kept on complaining that it wasn't great until finally somebody listened, and it took somebody going on college game day and embarrassing the university, whatever, by whatever means necessary. Is that so? I think you can do that. I'm supporting my team. I don't have to like every decision they're making in this particular year, and defend the things that are defensible. It's completely defensible that Cody Campbell and other boosters, I'm sure, have helped elevate Texas Tech's roster in a way to give them a legitimate chance to not just make the playoff again, but potentially win a national championship. And you're gonna
Agreed.
go along for the ride
Yeah.
and just go to that route because if you're just going to, or just do the other part, which is embrace the hate and enjoy being the villain, and then
Well,
it's
that's what
more fun
Michigan
because
did.
no
That's what
one can
Michigan
ever
did.
really, come against you. You're not going to have any control over what Kirby Hocutt does, what the chancellor does, or president. How I don't know how they label it, and certainly not what Cody Campbell can do. There's almost no chance he's not going to play, right? Because I know Replica talked about it, but they're in the district court in Texas. The next
Yeah.
thing is the appellate court in Texas, and then
Yeah.
the next
State.
thing would be the Supreme
Yeah.
Court. So even if everything was fast tracked, unless somebody figures out a
Couple
way.
years. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, you can do emergency things, but you think that's going to happen? Like three emergency hearings to stay in injunction, which they normally don't do. They don't usually, you know, go to appellate and overturn an injunction that isn't really a final decision anyway. They usually defer to the lower courts, but you're not going to get through those three in the state of Texas before August, whatever, let
Yeah.
alone get it to federal. So unless somebody's got some brilliant idea about standing with the NCAA, which is actually has sort of standing in 50 states, which is why they can be sued in every state, which is why we've had all the problems they've had.
NCAA is stupid.
You're
It's
not going to be
ridiculous.
able, but
Yeah.
NCAA is Texas Tech, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah. I
says that
know. I get
stuff,
it.
but it's just like it's just you just have less of a vote. It's like Yormark. He serves at the will of Texas Tech and 15 other institutions.
Yeah.
NCAA is just worse because your vote's diluted by hundreds slash thousands if
Right.
hundreds more if you go to Division two or three. But everyone likes to do the NCAA thing. And these schools are all part of it, right? So
Yeah.
they're almost, in a way, they're suing, voting against something that they put in charge of to run every other sport that all these schools are totally content with outside of the three or four money sports. So it's, I think it's basically done great damage to the reputation of Texas Tech, rightfully or wrongfully. Right? Optics is everything. It may
Yeah.
not be fair. It may not even be true. And I think the goals that Cody Campbell wanted with some of the things and some of the things in the Protect College Sports Act are great. Some of them are absolutely atrocious and unfair and
Yes.
undemocratic and on capitalism
Yes.
and
Yep.
all those other things. But I think it's made it more likely the things he did not want to have happen, silos breaking away, whatever definition you want to do, are more likely to happen now, which is completely ironic.
Yeah. I mean, that's a different show, but you're exactly right. It's unintended consequences. You're going for one thing, and you have the exact opposite hit you. Um, it's just interesting that this could be the thing that puts everything over the top. Everybody identified the Protect College Sports Act, whatever that is. Um, and they identified it now because it's been leaked that Cody Campbell basically wrote the entire thing, got Cruz and Cantwell to sign on with it, and he didn't remove his name for some stupid reason. So now everybody knows it's the Cody Campbell Protect College Sports Act, whatever that is, and it's completely undercut any of its moral authority. So
Oh,
I agree with
for sure.
you. There's a bunch of stuff in it I like. Everybody knows that. There's a bunch of stuff in there I think you can build on. They
Five
had
for
a
five is great, right?
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it goes down the line. I think there's lots of things that you can do with it, but forcing conferences to affiliate or not affiliate, forcing people to give away something they've earned, that's not That would have to change, and that's a core element to the deal. And I don't know how that could happen. Let me turn on the phone lines for. We're going to go for a little bit more. Rock, you're welcome to stick around. Let me open up phone lines for a little bit more. If you got to go too, that's cool. But 801
Yeah, I'll stick around for
899.
another minute or two, and then I'm going to drop off.
Oh yeah, thanks for joining tonight. By the way, it's great to see you.
Sure.
Let's see here. 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. Call in right now. We'll take calls for a few more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to read some really cool comments. Well, and so here we go.
Call from
Town Hawk.
Town Hawk comes in to stir it up. What's going on, man?
Man, I tell you what, you guys have all sorts of energy for late night shows tonight.
Yeah, for me, it was nervous energy. I'm not sure about Rock.
Oh,
It's
no,
not that late out here.
Replicas call,
Very good.
Evil Willie. I mean, everybody's bringing it tonight, it seems like. So
Yes.
I've got a couple of things. Nothing that's going to be just confrontational or anything, but
Okay.
just a couple of observations. I was thinking about what Evil Willie was talking about earlier. As far as getting rid of the NCAA, and as far as the enforcement
Right.
arm and self-regulating. I don't know why you can't do that at the conference level. I mean,
well, you can. That's what the silos. That's what the silos are that they talk about.
Well, I know we talk about silos, but
I don't think silos is going to happen. But that's what a silo is essentially. What you're talking about.
Think of it like this: every conference has their commissioner, and their commissioner is empowered to make punishment decisions on cheating, et cetera.
Right.
And if the schools do not agree with that they have some sort of veto power between the presidents, they can do a supermajority vote or override his decision if they don't like it, or if they don't like the way that he's performing, they also always have the opportunity to fire that guy and replace him with somebody more in line with what they want.
Okay.
I think that streamlines it a little bit versus the bureaucratic machine that's over there just gobbling up time and lawsuits apparently at this point.
The NCAA you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
That was one. The other one, we're talking about how the red line of this being the end all be all. You just don't do it. No in football.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Lately I've been watching YouTube and I've been having a lot of clips of like old late night TV interviews with Johnny Carson and Burt Reynolds.
Okay.
and it made me think, where I learned about, cheating in football was like the worst thing ever. For some of you younger viewers, they may never have seen it, but there was a movie called The Longest Yard.
Right.
In the early 70s, that was starred Burt Reynolds, and it was about a guy who got kicked out of pro football and wound up in prison. But there's a great quote here, and I'd like to read it. It's from the movie, but
sure, go ahead.
Here's one guy talking to Burt Reynolds. He says, most of these old boys don't have nothing. Never had nothing to start with, but you had it all. Then you let your teammates down, got yourself caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And Bert replies, oh, I did I? And he says, I ain't saying you did or you didn't. All I'm saying is that you could have robbed banks, could have sold dope or stole your grandmother's pension checks, and none of us would have minded. But shaving points off of a football game, man, that's un-American. Now, that is, it's hyperbole, but
no, that's right.
That's
it. Yeah, no, it's a thing for sure.
And that movie came out in 1974.
Yes.
Years before many of us were even born.
So this is not a new idea.
No.
Everybody likes to think that society and the rules and everything have gone away since the invent of the smartphone and AI. But it is things are generally the same, and they tend to repeat themselves.
Yes.
And we go in cycles of one extreme to the other. And
Yes.
I think we're dealing with that, because it's been over. You look at the timeline. 2018 we got the trans was the no it was the was that the red shirt or the transfer portal? Then 2021 NIL.
Right.
And I remember at that time people were like, oh well, these guys are only, so what? They're going to get paid $100,000. They're going to get $200,000. We're never going to get to the amount of what somebody would consider a professional athlete. And then, fast forward, it's 2026. What are we talking about today? We're talking about a quarterback who's being paid $5 million.
Yeah.
Or not paid $5 million, depending on the outcome.
Right.
For 1 year of service. So it is kind of ridiculous how fast it's evolved or devolved, whichever you might think.
Okay, I agree with you. Rock, do you want to turn up your sound on your computer and mute you so you can hear Rock there to Town Hawk?
Oh, sure. I can do that.
Just go on mute and then you can listen to us online. Go ahead, Rock. Replay.
Yeah, listen, great movie, by the way. Even the remake, which is not as good as the original, is still pretty funny.
Adam Sandler is not Burt Reynolds.
He's not Burt Reynolds, but
Yeah.
there's some. Chris Rock is good, and they're both good. There's no such thing as a bad football movie.
Okay.
Even there's some of them are not good, but that doesn't mean they're not good.
Right.
Look, I think he's definitely right there. The challenge with I don't think it's a challenge with the siloing thing, right? It's more of, I mean, eventually you want you want a championship. So football's got its own mechanism to do the playoff, right? But track and field does not. I don't know, but so after the Big 12 championships, who's going to be the organizers of all these other non-revenue and other sports, even the NCAA men's tournament, right? Is on a
Right.
conference level thing. So you'd have to figure that out at the end. And all you're doing is, to quote the Who, since we're doing quotes, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, right? Because eventually you're going to have another organization running some parts of it that people are not going to like, which is basically a metaphor for governments and everything like that. So that I think is ultimately the challenge, that if these all go into a silo, like, do you not get the championship level matchups that you want? You don't get to the SEC is not going to be able to sit there and declare themselves a national championship in football if they stay into a silo all year, just do their own playoff, no matter what the president of Georgia chooses to say publicly. And I'm just curious whether it's a player or so from Iowa who bet $10, or the Iowa State crew. Are those the next lawsuits we see? Because they had their
What
careers
are they gonna sue
wiped.
for? Lost wages, lost opportunity? What's the
Lost.
charge?
I don't know. Damage to your, yeah, they lost having to play 12 more football games in their careers, right? Over far less than Brendan Sorsby did. That could be enough. There's no damage. For all they know, they could have had a breakout season. You don't know.
I don't.
I
You're
mean,
right. I don't.
I don't. I don't. I mean, I don't think that would have happened. And actually, one of those guys finally made it to the NFL. At least got to a camp in, but I don't know how far they went. So ultimately, the siloing, all this stuff that would be so much more fun if we never had to know about it. But
Yeah.
they've made the sport just become this crazy thing after decades of seemingly stability, which was actually just in the form of
Yeah.
free
That
wages.
was. Yeah. It was suppressed labor prices. I mean, yeah. Let's not talk about what it used to be. It's not that anymore. So, to Town
Not
Hawk,
that.
I'll give you last word.
I'm gonna go, guys. Have a good night.
We'll see you later, Rock and Rant. We'll see you later. Thank you so much for being here. He is the Rock and Rant checking in on the College Football Mafia. Thank you so much, Rock. Great to see you.
Okay, Rock.
So Rock's gone, but go ahead and I'll give you the last word there to Town Hawk.
Oh no. I think he had some great points. I was just thinking about one thing that we hadn't talked about all night. That was about the schools possibly not playing Texas Tech or
We talked about it a little bit earlier. We did.
Right.
Yeah.
But we never talked about the opinion of what the broadcasters were going to be.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
And I cannot imagine ESPN nor Fox wanting anything but to have Sorsby play because they want the hate views.
Right.
I think that's going to be a big draw this year, and like you said,
right.
have them play the bad guy.
Yep.
Another thing I thought about, this is not the first time that we've had a sudden billionaire from the oil industry decide to take control of football in general. As a matter of fact, it's not the Cody Campbell story; it's the Jerry Jones story. As everybody should recall, Jerry bought the Cowboys after he hit it big in the oil industry, and he likes to inject himself into everything, and you see how well they've done since he got rid of Jimmy Johnson. But that history repeats itself. It's not a surprise.
Okay, I agree. Yep. One thing with history, we know what goes around comes around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where we got to go. Well, to Town Hawk, thanks so much for calling in, staying up late with me tonight. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right. We'll see you, buddy.
We'll see you later. Okay, bye-bye. He is the Town Hawk, super fan of the Kansas Jayhawks in the house. I will keep going if you guys want me to. If you guys keep calling in, I love talking to you. Also, super chats will keep me around. Yes, you can bribe me to stick around and answer more questions. Easiest way to do that is hit the dollar bill next to the comment section. You can do a super chat, or you can give away new memberships. If you're not a member, go to the website on YouTube, College Football Mafia, become a new member. I think all that stuff is very, very important, and I appreciate everybody coming in and spending some time with me tonight. I just realized I sent a post out earlier today that was way confusing because Twitter/X does not format well. I hope everybody can follow it now. I'm going to repost that action. All right, 801-899-6203. Did I open it? Oh, let me turn it on. 801-899-6203. You can call right now, or you can do super chat, or I'll work backwards through some of these amazing comments I've had for the next 10 minutes. If nobody calls and there's no super chats or whatever, I will move along, give you guys some time in bed if you would like that. I'm going to get to some awesome comments in the meantime. Grateful Trojan, again, has become a fantastic viewer. We appreciate you, Grateful Trojan. Thanks for being here tonight. One of the best calls I've ever heard on any program. That was in reference to the Replica. Appreciate Replica calling in tonight. That was awesome. Super fan, Timothy Green, our soldier out there on the East Coast representing the West Virginia Mountaineers, saying, I'm impressed with everyone on in the chat. That's what makes the show wonderful, is that everyone has a lot of common sense and is very bright. That's why I love watching this show. Thank you, Timothy. I cannot. Timothy is a super fan, and I absolutely love him. Let's go here.
Call from
Ryan Thomas.
Ryan Thomas? The Ryan Thomas?
Yes, the Ryan Thomas. The
What
name
aren't,
shall not be
aren't
named
you?
on another
You should
show.
be in. You should be in bed, Ryan.
I should be, but I mean, I was, I was just being overly riveted by reading this book that I got for a seminar, International Petroleum Law and Transactions. Let me just tell you, if that doesn't put you to sleep, Bomber, then I better be calling the show.
I appreciate that very much.
I mean, that's that's good. It's maybe a lot of money, but it's not exactly the most riveting stuff.
Right.
Anywho, the one thing that I think Tech fans don't understand, it's not that Texas Tech, this really has nothing to do necessarily with them doing something wrong right now. The issue is by playing Sorsby, they're essentially giving someone who should be held accountable a pass of not being held accountable. And that message, because he doesn't have any more eligibility after this year. So, this whole hearing, it's a farce.
Yeah.
The whole lawsuit would be dismissed anyway after the season. And the real issue is, for the sake of winning, they're willing to give someone who should be held accountable for a rule, essentially a free pass when you think about what happened at Iowa State and other places. And that's why people are pissed off.
Yes.
And, like it or not, that's how it is. And I think Ruppelt got a nice call, but I think what the message was from the Big 12 to Texas Tech is, you better deal with this internally, or we will, we'll go against you. And, Cody Campbell may be powerful, but you know who's more powerful than Cody Campbell
Who?
in the state of Texas? Is the University of Texas and Texas A&M. And there are a lot more enemies that Cody has in that state that the Texas legislature can put him out of a job on that board of trustees real quick. That's the thing. Cody needs to realize that you don't get things accomplished in life by making enemies. He may think that, but ultimately that bites you in the ass at the end of the day. And
it's hard for me to believe that he's a billionaire, Ryan. It's hard for me to believe that he thinks that's true.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to think
that. But the issue is at the end of the day, even the most powerful people find a way. Billionaires have gone bankrupt before, Nathan.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
You've seen some powerful people, some smart people destroy and topple themselves. The 37th president we had, Richard Nixon, had the highest IQ of any president in the United States, and he screwed himself over.
Yeah.
So, being intelligent doesn't necessarily mean that you're intelligent.
I don't disagree. That's true. Yeah.
So, that's the thing. So
you're intelligent, but you're not necessarily wise, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been spending the past couple of weeks reading Proverbs, so I'm feeling Solomon wise here.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wise, though.
I hear you.
I'm a bit, as many think I'm probably a big dumb idiot, but I try to be entertaining. I think it's interesting to see. There's a lot of talk about silos, Bomber, but there's a couple things. The NCAA does a lot of stuff administratively that I don't think these conferences want to do on their own.
Right.
And just keeping track of all the athletes in the clearinghouse and all that stuff. Like, that's a mess that I don't think these conferences want to deal with. I don't think they want to explode their budgets and their staff, and I don't think they want to expand their bureaucracy and deal with the headache of that.
Okay.
The other thing that's important to realize is, if the Big Ten and the SEC break away, they're making the same mistake that Cody Campbell is. They're making themselves the bad guy. And do you honestly believe that Congress is going to give the SEC or the Big Ten an antitrust exemption if they screw everybody else? They're not.
No.
And so that doesn't solve the problem of keeping NIL and compensation under control. In fact, it makes it worse, and it opens up those universities to thousands of lawsuits from athletes.
Right.
So, they're not getting that. If they believe that they can break away and get that is the height of arrogance, because they're not. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And, the other thing too is, do they want to deal with, the NCAA, all these G6, and I've shared this with you before, but I mean, the additional value that the P2 schools would generate from breaking away pales in comparison to the loss in value and donations and the damage to athletic budgets of everybody else left behind.
Yeah, that's true.
And in
But
Ohio State,
is it Ohio State's responsibility to?
But the problem is it's the Ohio legislature's responsibility to make sure all the universities of Ohio are taken care of.
Sure,
It's
that's
the
a state
Texas
issue, though. It's not a conference.
Yeah,
thing.
but you think the state, you think any of the elected members of Congress or the Senate are going to support the Big Ten and SEC in doing that when their constituents are going to get royally hosed and their budgets are going to get wiped out?
No, I don't believe in I don't believe in the P2 breakaway. So no, I don't.
It's just delusional, and I mean, and I think what this is all kind of like a power play that people. I think they all end up back at the table, but I don't know what's going to happen. This is a mess, and you can blame Neil Gorsuch for this, for going clear back to the NIL thing. You know, this is a Pandora's box that opened up 8 years ago, and it's not getting better.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, I think there's some realities people have to come to bear at, because if all those G6 and ACC and Big 12 schools are going to get screwed, the NCAA will have no problem booting the SEC and Big 10 out. They'll have no problem doing that, because if they're going to go bankrupt and lose, if they're going to die anyway, they're going to take everybody else with them. So I mean, you know, that's the thing. So I mean, I hope that people can just kind of drop the arrogance. Now, I don't agree. I think Cody Campbell's plan is stupid. You know, I certainly think I don't have a problem with the Big Ten and the SEC making lots of money and doing things. But what I do have a problem with is not agreeing to the rules that they agreed to in the CSC. And, you know, it's just kind of a nightmare. So hopefully there's a happy compromise that can be found. But, you know, Cody Campbell and kind of his antics today, he probably just killed his own bill, despite what he thinks. And
that's
you know,
unfortunate. There's an opportunity there. That's unfortunate, because there was an opportunity there.
He needs to fade away in the background, because with this distraction, all he's doing is hurting any moral authority he has.
I agree.
Is just, this is just like, a pimp trying to go out there and promote abstinence to a high school. I mean, it has no bearing. And I'll tell you, trying to get this damn thing passed is going to be like trying to wipe a bobcat's ass with sandpaper, but it's got to be done. And
I haven't heard that before.
there's like, when it's late at night and I'm tired and I can't sleep, the filter's off, Bomber. But
look, we're all up late.
I'll call in more often, but I just wanted to give my first time call in there, because I've been banned on another show, so so I guess you guys can hear me here.
I love talking to you, Ryan. I love talking to you.
I love being on the show, and I love I love our good boy, Mr. Stats down at Bama Coug, as we like to call him.
Oh, you're talking about Fuller?
Yeah, Mr.
Jeff
Fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good man.
He is a good man. Yeah.
Dr. Fuller.
He is a doctor. That's right. Yep. He's okay.
So, so anyway, I hope everybody has a good night. Replica, my friend, you are legendary. I love that guy's calls. I mean, I'm not exactly a big fan of Bevo, but man, Replica, I'll cut Texas slack because of you and because of Sark.
Okay, all right.
I'll give Bevo some slack there, but Replica has legendary calls. I love that guy. He brings the heat. And Rock and Rant, that guy is a solid dude as well. It's great that he's on the show, but you got some good people helping you out. Hopefully we don't go insane. Hopefully Wild Ute still has his hair after all this. I think I think he's going a little crazy too, but
All
I
right.
think he's being driven nuts by this. But anyway, that's enough. I'm gonna go to bed. But take care,
Okay.
my friend. Thanks for the show.
You
All right,
too.
bye.
We'll talk to you later, Ryan.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. He is the Ryan Thomas, and I will give applause. I've been also a BYU super fan, so close to my heart. I appreciate that. Jared Jones still with us, up way late. Absolutely loving this late night with Bomber show. I'm gonna have to think about doing this more. You guys like this? I sort of did this because this news broke, and I'm not normally a news break guy. I'm usually wait today. So anyway, tomorrow night, before I get to anything else, let me see if the phone lines are still open. Phone lines are still open, 801-899-6203. You can call in. I was just going to say a preview for tomorrow night. Hopefully, I'm going to have Jeremiah Dickey, who's been the hardest guy in the world to catch, the AD, Boise State University, who can come in and give us firsthand what he thinks about what's going on in college football right now. And then Danielle Kelly, a little bit after, who is the Assistant Attorney General, yes, working for the state of Florida in antitrust cases. If everybody thinks replicas calls are great, Danielle comes in and she lays the wood. I interviewed her a couple weeks ago. I'm going to repost that link. Fantastic interview. Hopefully I get both of them tomorrow. If not, maybe I'll just do, I want to do calls anyway. Maybe I'll just do another all call-in show because I doubt this news is going to go away anytime soon. Everybody's going to be talking about this for a while. The story of the month is going to be Brendan Sorsby. Last call for anybody who wants to call in, 801-899-6203, 801-899-6203. I'll give that 30 seconds, and then we will pop that out. Once that disappears, we'll shut down the phone lines once that disappears. The Protect College Sports Act, whatever that is, everybody knows I'm a believer in bills that have support on both sides of the aisle. I think that's the only way instant change gets done, or change in general gets done. The P2 breakaway, I know what the sound, everybody's saying, yeah, they're going to use this as an excuse, and it's possible they could. It definitely isn't a good thing that the whole thing has become the Cody Campbell Protect College Sports Act, whatever. That's not good. And there's some stuff in there I would not do, but we need this sort of, for us to get down the road, everybody, we need something that everybody can have a little bit of piece of. Everybody should feel good about. There are possibilities for that bill to work. It's going to be tough to make it work without a lot of changes. I'm going to turn off the phones now. 2 hours is enough. You guys have been awesome. I don't think I missed any super chats. Let's see if there's anybody. Jared says, great call. As always, it's great to have Jared here. Michael Smith says, it's not even money or athletic budgets. Just think of all the opportunities for a college education that will be cut off if they withdraw the ladders. Withdraw the ladders. I'm not sure of the ladders part, but I get the rest of it. Yeah, no, it's not good. Losing those sports is horrible. And I could do this all night, but I can't go all night either. You guys, I don't think I missed any super chats. So really quick, I want to thank again Ryan Willie, super chat. Marcus Williams, super chat. Let's get to any more we have here. I had to administer all this myself, so if I missed any, it's my fault. Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, $5 super chat. And then we had a member comment. MBM 357 has been a member for 17 months. Thank you so much, MBM, for being here. Jason Watkins, I know how much this means to you, Jason. Thank you so much for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. It's great to have you here tonight. Jared Jones gave us a $50 super chat. Bombs to Jared Jones. Thank you so much, Jared, for helping me get through this evening. And then we started off with a super chat from Ryan Willie, $2 super chat. All those are fantastic. I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight. And make sure you follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're on X watching, don't shut me down quite yet. Go over to YouTube. Go to College Football Mafia. We're the only thing that pops up. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. hit the bell. Let us know how we're doing. Leave comments and questions. And I will say this: we have the best viewers in all of YouTube, especially college sports. The smartest guys, people that have called in that know what they're talking about. It's just not opinions. It's not just truckers. That's I don't even want to say that. Truckers make some of the best calls in the world. It's not just people who aren't educated that watch this show for shock jock stuff. People tune in because they know they're going to get hopefully educated opinions and good conversation. So I appreciate everybody doing that late tonight with me. Again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this channel, I will put out the show bump sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. Once I confirm my guests, but right now it's supposed to be Danielle Kelly and Jeremiah Dickey joining me tomorrow night, which should be a lot of fun. And if they don't make it, we'll do something else. Anyways, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. See you here. Everybody else, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I want you to have a great night. Be safe. And I know it's late, but if you, in the next 24 hours, think of somebody you haven't talked to in a very long time, their face, their name pops into your brain, do me a favor, send them a text, give them a call. I am willing to promise you, if you reach out to people and just say hi with a text, you will change the trajectory of their day and you will make them feel better for a lot longer than 24 hours. So I ask you to do that. Also, pray for all those people who are struggling right now. It's a tough world, and the way we do get through is to helping each other. So thanks so much, everybody, for being here tonight. Hope you have a great time. Jackson Johnson checking in, coming in off the top rope. Last guy in the house. Jackson, good to have you here. He runs. He absolutely is. Oh my gosh. How am I forgetting? Voice of College Football. I apologize, Jackson. I'm tired. Jackson Johnson runs the Alabama portion of Voice of College Football. Also helps Mark Rogers over there. Mark Rogers and I do a show once a month. So thank you so much, Jackson, for being here. I appreciate you coming in at the last. Let's help Bomber, Wild Ute, Moen, and friends get the College Football Mafia to 10,000 subs. Gosh, we got to be over 6,000 here pretty soon. You guys help me out. Help a brother out if you can do that. Everybody else, stay out of trouble. Have a great night. And I will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you. Go Cougs.